Welcome back to BGP. On February 14th, Valentine's Day, a landlord uh, sent the police for a wellness check to one of his rental properties in Pontiac, Michigan. He had not received rent since October, and he had not heard from the tenant um, since December. When the police arrived at the townhouse, they were greeted by a young man and the stench of this townhome.
Mm.
The young man, his clothes were soiled, his hair was matted, and there were two other children in the house. They were sisters. They were locked up in the bathroom, and they came out when the police asked them to. They actually had to go inside of the house with hazmat
Mm.
uniforms because there was trash everywhere. In some areas, the trash was 4 feet high. There was feces and urine that overflooded not only the toilet, but the bathroom. There was mold. Um, the girls' hairs was matted. They had no personal hygiene. They smelled. Their toenails were so long that they could barely walk. The young man explained that when he was 10 and his sisters were 8 and 7, that their mother had abandoned them. He believes it was 4 years ago and maybe 5 years ago. So, fast forwarding, they are now 15, 13, and 12 years old. Kelli Bryant, 34 years old, allegedly left, and they said allegedly that she lived 6 minutes away from those children. First thoughts, Adrian.
Golly, that is it's really sad. It's sad that here it is in this day and age, and it always seems to be in these places where it's gets zero below zero in the wintertime. But my first thought is here's these babies in here trying to fend for themselves in a house full of nastiness, filth, no telling what they had to deal with in there, the fear that they must have endured during that time. So this mother, in my opinion, failed to protect, child neglect, child endangerment, and she should be charged with everything under the sun because you have left these babies there to fend for themselves. I often wonder why the school did not get involved. Again, and one of the things where people are not paying attention. You know what I mean? And here's these babies would probably didn't want to say anything because their fear of being separated or taken or whatever. No telling what the mama was telling you. When you go to school, you better not, you know, I don't know. It's really, it's ugly, it's sad, it's sick.
Well, they hadn't been to school for the 4 or 5 years.
Mm.
Um,
So they
yeah.
weren't even in the system.
Somebody I read somewhere where they said that she had went to either check them out or transfer them, and the paperwork got stuck right there, and nobody went back and saw what possibly would have happened or could have happened. She's now in prison,
Good.
$250 million bail because they think she's a flight risk. What do you think, Nisha?
Trifling bitch. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna say it. Trifling bitch. I'm like tired of hearing the stories of mothers neglecting their kids because I'll say this and I keep saying it. Children don't ask to come here.
They don't.
We bring them into this world, so we owe them the protection and a proper upbringing that they deserve. We owe them that for bringing them into this world. And so for her to have multiple kids and then leave them on their own while she gonna stay somewhere else is just lock her up. Lock her up. Like I can't even put like all of the blame on I can't even put the blame on the other parent. Well you can, but I can't. because she had them locked up. She
Exactly.
left them unattended. She was, going to live her life while they stayed somewhere else
Mm.
in some trash and disgusting living conditions as babies during the pandemic. During like one of the most dangerous times at the time for anybody to be by themselves, especially kids. And for her to do that, like, yeah, trifling. Lock her up and keep her where she at. And I hope, those kids get the care and that they need. And probably counseling too, because I can only imagine what they saw and was living in. Those are my first thoughts.
So I'm a single mother of one. And I try to put myself in her shoes. And I'm trying to figure out how does this happen? What do? Do you wake up one morning and inside your townhouse and you look around and you see all the things that are supposed to be of value to you all in this one place, and you just say, I'm never coming back here again. Did she snap?
And I'm going to leave the kids.
She could have.
And then she looks at her 10-year-old son and her 8-year-old daughter and her 7-year-old daughter. And she says, this is as far as I can take you. I'm done.
She need her.
And Adrian thought that they were going to school. I want to know, what did she say? Because it said that she talked to the little boy because she was dropping them food off on the porch once a week.
Mm-hmm.
She talked to the little boy, so she left him a cell phone. But she barely talked to the daughters that were her alike. What did she say to that young? Well, first of all, I personally believe, and Nisha said they're babies. Anything under 13 is a baby.
Exactly.
What did she say to that 10-year-old? Because a 10-year-old is what, in the 4th grade, 5th grade? So they're in the 5th grade, the 3rd grade, and the 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something to him. What? Baby, you're not going to be, mama got to go handle some business. Y'all not going to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back. What did she say?
Don't answer the door.
They never went outside. He said he went out 2 times to
For
feel
the
the grass.
sun in the grass.
To feel it.
To
Yeah.
feel the grass at his feet because their toenails were so long, they could not wear shoes. And think about 5 years, their clothes didn't fit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that pissed me off is every time something like this happens, I go into the comment section. I want to see what the women are saying. And my stomach started turning and I felt like fighting. They kept on saying, she left for my house. She left for my house. Oh, they should have been able to clean that house up better than they did. They act like she left some young teenagers or some young adults generational wealth or something. And then they were saying that, they start victim shaming and saying that they should have known how to clean up. They should have known how to take care of themselves. Let's talk about it. A 10-year-old boy and 2 baby sisters.
10.
And mama didn't come home tonight. And we asking each other, where's mama? I don't know. Now that first night might be fun. Because they in the house by themselves. They can watch what they want to watch.
TV.
They can eat up everything.
Yeah.
They can stay up late. And then the next day they wake up and mama not here. And everybody want to know, where's mama? Did mama call? Is mama sick? Is mama hurt somewhere? Is mama dead? They don't know. So they do this routine of doing what they want to, eating what they want to, until there's no more food. Watching TV. Where's mama? And it turns into days, and it turns into weeks, and it turns into months, and it turns into years. And they ain't out washing their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't ate up all the food. And mama ain't came back to bring no food. Do you actually think that these babies give a damn about cleaning a house? Y'all, if you have children, you know you got to tell your children, go in there and wash your face and brush your
Yep.
teeth.
Yep.
Go in there and take a bath.
Yep.
They would never take a bath if they didn't have to.
Mm-mm.
But they traumatized. They don't give a damn about cleaning up. And they were not allowed to go outside. So that was one of the reasons why there was mold in the house. And it was filthy.
Mhm.
The trash was everywhere. Just imagine 4 or 5 years, babies in the house by themselves.
Mhm.
You know, one of them, 2 of them, all 3 of them got sick.
And inhaling trash too, because they couldn't take any. They
Yeah.
couldn't go outside.
They couldn't go
So
outside.
the trash is
The
just,
windows not open.
Yep.
Mm.
They said the little boy slept on a soiled mattress.
Mm-hmm.
Did she take all the furniture out? The baby girl slept on pizza boxes.
Yeah, cardboard boxes.
Now, Nisha say she can't blame the other parent. Ooh, that's my stomach.
Both of y'all stomach growling like crazy.
So yeah. So imagine me
Yeah, right?
being one of them children and I'm hungry. My stomach growling. But I'm tired too. But I can't go to sleep because I'm hungry and I'm hungry so I can't go to sleep. Night after night after night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it said that the father was incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
But the father got out of prison in 2022. He asked for custody.
Mm-hmm.
He was granted custody.
Mm.
However,
You know.
what is her name? Kelli Bryant denied him custody of those children. They could have only been in there for 2 years.
Mhm.
But because she was doing whatever the hell she was doing, he couldn't see his children. How do you, as a mother, detach from your babies? How do you detach from your maternal instincts? You don't feel guilty that your babies is over here and you over there living your best life, living like you single. Did she snap?
You know, you hear about that saying, I think it's Oprah that always says it's hurt people hurt people. And I believe that she probably had her own set of traumas in her life, but to neglect these kids the way she did, like if you laying up with a nigga somewhere, he ain't never asked, hey, what's up with your babies? Where's your kids at? Do we need to go? Nobody, your family,
they
your
said her
mama?
daddy was a pastor. So nobody
in the thank you.
I know when
Something
I talk
ain't-
to your house, your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
What Anaya doing? Where's she at?
Right.
Exactly. So they fell way under the radar. And it's like them kids was in survival mode. They didn't know what to do. They like some little animals.
They're
like,
babies.
Yeah, they
Like I
don't
said,
know what
she,
to do.
She left them as babies. So their mentality, even though they're older, and that's what I think people forget, is still that of babies because they were never taught. Like they're not your average 15, 13, and 12-year-old. They're not
they
your
have
average
no-
because
mm-mm.
they didn't go to school. They weren't home trained. They were left when they were
At
babies.
yeah. They don't know about
So
cleaning up.
yeah, they don't know that.
Even as teens, sometimes they act like they don't know about cleaning up, even when you didn't show them.
Even
So you
grown
know
ass
if you don't
women
have
houses
exactly.
is nasty
Yes.
as hell.
Exactly.
But you expect some children under trauma to be around there like, ooh, yeah, we gotta get this
Let's
house clean.
vacuum.
Oh,
Yeah,
mama gonna
Let's
come.
take the
Mama
trash
coming
out.
home.
Yeah.
Let's take the.
They said they
dishes.
ain't had no hygiene products. They had no toothpaste, no toothbrush,
Makes
no soap,
sense.
no nothing. They was in there stinking
By themselves. Yeah.
together
Yeah, for years.
For years.
for
For
years.
years.
See, she need her.
And I think that's why she wouldn't let them kids go with the dad because he would have
He
found that
would've
out.
known.
He would have found
Yeah.
out that they was there for 2 years at that time by themselves, you
And
know,
my
without living in those kind of conditions.
And we've talked about this before. You know, one baby in, 2 babies in, that you don't want to be a mama no more. Get your tubes tied. Shut that shit down because
Mhm.
this is not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, give them to your
Give them
people. But to have them go through this and they going to suffer with this for the rest of their life, abandonment issues, just all kind of stuff that's going to stem from this thing that they went through for 4 years, which probably to them seemed like 10 or 15 years. It's so unfair. And she's awful.
Single motherhood is not for the weak.
No, it ain't.
And it'll test the strong. Now, I didn't trip, I didn't stumbled, I didn't fail, I didn't bit, I didn't crack, but I haven't broken. So I'm trying to figure out how she broke like that. And she was delivering food to her babies and sitting the food on the porch. As an adult. And I'm talking to the ladies that's in them comment section, victim blaming them, shaming them children. If Uber, DoorDash, whoever delivered your food and called you up and was like, hey, your food on the porch, what you gonna do? They getting cussed out. I'm calling the supervisor. I'm not no animal. She left that shit like, she did it like, I called up Nisha with my 4 babies.
She was disconnected.
I called up Adrian. I got 3 babies, and I said, Adrian, I'm getting evicted. Can we come stay with you for a minute? Yeah. And Adrian said, yeah. And I got in there, and I got good, and I bumped out. And Adrian was like, shit, these ain't my babies. I'm going to leave them here, give them some shelter, but I'm burning out too. That's how she did them kids. Like, those weren't her children.
They didn't come
like, they was a charity case that she was helping every week. I want to know, after the babies ate all the food, and she dropped them off some food on the weekend, how long did it take them babies to figure out that they can't eat up everything in one sitting?
They got to ration.
How long did it take them to divide it into 3 and to divide that 3 into 6 days? Because mama was only coming once a week. Do you know how traumatic that is? Can you as an adult get some food once a week and survive? And I really think that those babies survived because it was 3 of them. Because I don't think one of them would have been able to survive for 5 years. Because when Mona broke down, Adrian and Nisha was there to be like, it's okay. And when Nisha broke down, me and Adrian was there to say like, it's okay.
Come on, y'all.
And when I broke down and everybody broke down and everybody was crying and hugging, and I think that's how they fucking survived. That's fucked up. So my question to you ladies is this. What do you think should happen to her? Adrian?
Well, for sure, she should never get out of prison. And I say life because you've ruined 3 lives and you should pay. There is no way in hell that she should get away with what she did. I don't care. There's not enough parenting classes. There's not enough child abuse classes. There's just not enough. She should never be considered even visitation, in my opinion, because she has traumatized these kids for the rest of their life. And anybody who was associated with her that possibly knew that this was going on needs to be charged as well, because ain't no way. They have been, the system failed them. Even though they were in, not in school. You mean this was a townhouse, right?
Yeah.
You mean nobody smelled that?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Nobody saw that the trash for number 17 is not going out enough. Nobody, the maintenance people at the place, when they was having to do work on 16, didn't smell, hey, something's going on at 17. This is when I talk about that. When you see something, say something. We grew up that way. That ain't your business. But in situations like this, you need to speak up. Somebody had to know something wasn't right with them babies. Even when a little boy stepped out to feel the grass or get some sunlight, they didn't say, something's wrong.
It kind of lets you know that he was a slumlord.
For sure.
Because I know where I live.
Yes.
They leave you a little note on your door. They
Something,
coming in.
Yeah.
Permission to enter on such and such a day to such a. So 5 years you didn't go in there and check on nothing.
Who's paying? So she must have been on some type of Section 8 or something.
Paying.
Oh,
she
absolutely.
was paying.
She was on Section 8
she had
because
to be.
Where was she living?
Thank you.
And they were living there too.
Yeah, she was paying. I think that one, she definitely needs to be checked for mental health.
For sure.
In my opinion. She needs to be checked for that first before sentencing. Not trying to use an excuse or anything, but as we know, some people do snap after having kids. And considering that she left one day, those 3 children, during the break of a pandemic, it could be a case of her snapping. And she just walked away like, I'm done. I'm tired of this shit. I'm done.
So are you trying to say...
I'm not making excuses.
No, just let me ask you this. And I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a good point. During the pandemic, people had to stay home.
Yep.
And
True,
maybe she
true.
wasn't used to being in the house all day and all night with three babies.
And flip.
Because they couldn't, at some point in time, they couldn't go to school.
Correct.
She didn't have no job because it looked like she was on Section 8. And that, mama, three calling mama. I can't take one.
And you got to kind
mama.
of homeschool that. Yeah.
Right.
It can be overwhelming. But like you said, single parenting is not for the weak. And still, to me, that's like you said, it's no excuse for her to just abandon them babies like that.
It's not.
Yeah.
Logically, it's not. But incompetent mom, it's possible that they could make negligent decisions like that. And so that's why I'm like, I think she should be checked out first. Now, if they clear her and be like, ain't nothing wrong with her. She knew. She just said that's it, then yeah, I think she definitely should lose custody full time. Like,
for sure.
Lose custody. Let the children stay with the dad. Make sure they're in a healthy environment. Get them some counseling because they're going to need it, especially based on what they experienced. That's a lot of trauma for kids. And I definitely think she should serve time for it. But if it's a mental health issue, she needs treatment.
She
my
could
opinion.
be treated in prison.
She needs.
They have classes and stuff.
She could be treated in prison.
They have.
I mean, she could do some time, sure, but I mean, I don't know if she should get life if it's a mental health issue, because again, we've seen on Lifetime and different stories, different cases where some moms snap after they have multiple kids,
postpartum depression.
They
I
snap.
get it.
They snap, and I mean, we always say when we talk, I'm like, look, I stopped at one. I can't imagine having three. Mom. He hit me. She hit me. She hit me.
They get on your nerves, no doubt.
I'm out.
Deuces.
I'm out. Go with your daddy.
Yeah.
Go to your grandma's. Go to your grandpa. Get the fuck out. Go.
And the fact that she got away with it for so long, she probably just started thinking, well, shit, it's working. Obviously, I can do this. But God damn, you mean to tell me you don't even, you drop the food off at the porch, you don't even think, let me go in here and make sure they straight. Let me go in here and at least clean up and then I'll leave and go back to. Yeah. She just totally disconnected.
She disconnected. Like,
I just
drop them off.
I know the craziest of the craziest. And they still know right from wrong. And at some point, just like you snapped out, you can snap back in and go in there and say, let me check on these babies. Let me look after them. If nothing, let me go see my mom. Let me talk to my homegirl. Or maybe, can you go over there and look? Girl, I done flipped out and these babies is over there by themselves. Could you go look after them? Could you see what's happening? Something.
But again, I mean, we've talked about, recent situations and other situations. Detroit is different.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Detroit is different.
No doubt.
I mean, their checks and balances is not all, it's not similar to Cali. And I'm not dissing Detroit, but it's just we starting to hear a lot of stories about what's going on over there in Detroit, and so it's different. Out here, like I know when we have annual checkups where they come, hey, we're going to check your smoke detector. We're going to check your carbon monoxide. We're going to check to make sure everything's working. Everything's good. Okay, cool. Sign off on it. All right. Like they do this every year annually. So for no checks, no nothing for that townhouse, it's like I said, they're a little different. I got my money. We cool. Yeah. I ain't got it.
I ain't seen nobody.
So basically, if she had to continue to pay, them babies might have just eventually survived or passed away. Before they caught her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things I hear all the time is that even if she did go through trauma her own self and when maybe she was an abused woman or whatever, you might not be responsible for the trauma, but you're responsible for your healing. And if she, knowing you done birthed, like a baby done came out of your womb 3 times and there is absolutely no connect no more, something obviously mentally is wrong. But we cannot use that as a defense for so long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 4 years, come on, something didn't go. Let me go check, like something.
Like she mentally checked out.
Completely.
It was like I'll just drop a bag off. She
Yeah.
was still paying the phone bill if she's able to call him and be like, your
Exactly.
food is on the porch. But
She
no, give mama hugs. No,
like you
how
said,
my
she
kids
trifling.
doing? No, nothing. Just drop this on
One
the
time she
porch.
only dropped off a loaf of bread for them babies.
She see.
So fuck that
Mm-mm.
mental health
Exactly.
evaluation. She came every week to make sure that she could live her fucking life. Fuck that evaluation. She knew what the fuck she was doing. She came back to check to make sure the coast is clear so she could hit the club, so she could twerk over here, so she could Netflix and chill. She incarcerated them babies. They are behind emotionally,
Ooh.
physically, academically,
Yeah.
socially.
Yeah.
They're going to have abandonment issues for the rest of their life.
Mhm.
They're going to have trust issues for the rest of their lives. I think that she should stay locked up. However, I think that somewhere in that prison where they have something abandoned, that they should recreate that townhouse and make her live in squalor like she allowed those children to live in
Yeah.
for 5 years. She should not be able to shower for 5 years. She should not have no toothpaste, toothbrush, washcloth, soap, deodorant for 5 years. She should be give a plate once a week for 5 years and see if she can survive. Now, after she survives that, then we're going to bring her in and we're going to do a mental evaluation, because I think then she would understand the errors of her ways, and then she may be able to explain what happened. But she was getting away with that shit. 5 years. Like y'all said, you don't want to hug them. You don't want to comb the girl's hair. You don't want to drop them off in them clothes. Them clothes probably was in there tight. The shoe, their feet, their toenails were so long, they couldn't put no shoes on. And even if they knew how to clip their toenails, the shoes probably was too small.
Yeah.
The clothes, they in there looking like Urkel and stuff.
Yeah.
She can't get out. She can't get out. I think they should find the father and award him custody and help him with them babies if he still want them. Because if shit, they don't even really know him, so it might be too much for him to handle. Look at the mess that she created because she was selfish, because she didn't want to do it no more. She got a mama and a daddy. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
I forgot. She had another baby.
Mm-hmm.
That got taken?
No.
Mm-mm.
That who she was living with.
That baby lives with the father. I didn't know if it was who she was living with, but that baby lived with the father. And there's a picture of that little boy and her dad, who's the pastor, who they say he gives out free food to the homeless, with a picture with that little boy saying, "This is my grandson." What about the other 3?
See, that's why I say it's a lot more people involved that should have done something. You too close. You know something. You ain't seen these babies in 4 years. You don't know the. No.
Them little girls probably had to get their hair cut off.
Probably somatic. Well, any of them of
Wait a
period
minute.
age.
That's what I was about to
menstrual.
say.
Yeah.
Menstrual.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Did they have any pads? Was they just free bleeding all of?
Probably flea bleeding.
And that little boy had to go through that too. Girl.
See, she need to be snatched and drugged. That's all I can say.
Green Mile.
Snatched and drugged, because that is just ridiculous.
You need to take that long walk with a Green Mile.
Mm-hmm. Shame on her and
Y'all got
anybody that was
anything else
around
to say?
her.
Because I'm about to start crying.
I know, right? It's really sad, but and the thing is, this is like probably one of many stories out there like that, because they don't all get put on social media. We don't hear about them all the time. But it happens, and it's sad to say that these kids are not protected properly. I know in Los Angeles County, we have a big issue in the Antelope Valley with kids that are neglected, even the school gets involved, and DCFS cannot handle all those cases.
Yeah.
And it's sad because we count on them to do what they can, but their caseload is like this, and they're supposed to
Yeah.
have a caseload like this.
Yeah.
So it's just a snowball effect of bullshit that don't get handled properly, and these kids suffer. Like you said, Nisha, these kids don't ask to be brought here, and they sure in the hell don't ask to be living in
Neglected.
conditions that's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Shit and piss everywhere. You probably opened that door and the stench that came out of that house was so nasty.
If they had to
have
wear
masks.
hazmat,
Where's the
wear
mail?
masks.
Like that's another thing. If mail is piling up, or is she coming over there just getting the mail to make
Yeah,
it look
she
like
can
nobody?
slide through at
You
night.
know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. And again, I'll say it, and I'll say this is like one of my little slogans we used to use on one of our walks. When you see something, say something. When you see it, say I know we all have, especially in our culture, we grow up in that day. That ain't my business. I ain't in it. And people's getting their ass beaten, and children are being neglected. If you can say something, anonymously call, do something, because these babies should not have had to suffer like this. That's all I can say.
I think they didn't smell it because they never opened the doors. They never opened the window. And I think that because townhomes are detached, maybe
that's
it would have
right.
been
It's
wall
like
to
an
wall.
apartment, right? It
Mhm.
would be more.
They probably. What about the air conditioner? What about the
Thank
heat?
you.
Was they in there freezing? Was they in there too hot?
Now, see, with the
Did they have-
townhomes, usually the water is provided by the, so they
Mhm.
probably continue to have water.
Mhm.
But if you ain't got no soap
They was
and
drinking that
towel,
nasty faucet water. So them babies was malnourished,
Yeah.
underdeveloped,
Yeah.
not going to school. I think that if you are on the county, if you are getting government assistance, that like we have quarterly reviews on our jobs, that they should have quarterly reviews and call in the parents and the children and talk to them like they would do if somebody called,
exactly.
and see about the well-being of that mother, and see about the well-being of those children, see if they're getting along, see if they're mentally sound, and depending on what you find out, that's when you
Cut them.
I mean,
cut them off. You know, like
that's when you see, like Nisha said, if they need some therapy,
yeah,
if they need
some
some help,
assistance.
and depending if they need to go to some classes,
Mhm.
and depending on how they do that, then you decide if you
Yeah.
cut them off or not.
Right.
Then
'Cause
you
maybe mom
decide
needs help.
to place the
Mhm.
children where they need to be placed. Then they give her an ultimatum: you need to go out here and get a job, and you help her and do those types of things. I also think that when a man is granted custody and he does not get them, that there should be some type of law put in place that helps him get that custody of those children. And as long as he hasn't done anything heinous, that he should be allowed to have those children, because
exactly.
instead of 5 years, it could have only been 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you could reverse some of that damage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the programs definitely need to be monitored more closely, because in this situation right here, yes, we continue to give you your Section 8. Yes, we probably were giving you food stamps, but you're on this program maybe annually, and then if we see that there's an issue, maybe every 6 months. But somebody needs to be monitoring this stuff, because that's how the stuff gets swept under. That's how these men get to live in these Section 8 places with these women for years that way, because nobody is monitoring none of this stuff.
And we have to remember too, don't nobody care about black babies.
They sure don't. They sure don't.
Had that been somebody in the suburbs and they noticed, where's Johnny? None of the kids was like, they didn't get to play outside.
Right.
They didn't get to talk to their friends.
Right.
These babies just now learning their ABCs and they 1, 2, 3s, and you got people in the comment section talking about they didn't know how to clean up. They should have knew better.
See now.
I want to be going to ass whooping tour, but I'm too old right now. But that's just
Right.
how I felt about the situation. How insensitive can you be? Did she leave them with some instructions? Did she say, hey, kids, I'm giving you pass down generational wealth. This is all yours. This is how the dishwasher runs. This is how you turn. Babies don't even know how to turn on the hot and cold water. You still got to turn on their showers
To
for
make
them
sure it's
because they
properly
might get burnt up.
scalded. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I just embarrassed to be a black woman, embarrassed to be a mother, and embarrassed that we have people in society that don't really give a damn about nobody.
And the cool thing about it, the stats on like if they end up in foster care, the adoption rate for that age group for black kids is very, very low.
Yep.
But for a white child, even by a black parent,
Yep.
is more higher. They will get snatched up quicker than these black kids.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they're dealing with neglect and abandonment because now we're in this program. And yes, it's probably way better than how you were living before. But most are not gonna. If they want to adopt a black kid, they want a baby. They don't want a 10-year-old who done had all these issues
Trauma.
and problems. And that's the saddest part about it because they end up with a whole long life of this kind of bullshit that could have been prevented.
Whew. I'm done.
Yeah,
I don't have anything else to say.
So let me give my final thoughts.
I thought you did.
I never talked.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't. It's all good. So what I was gonna say is what I've been saying for the last few episodes. Black women, stop having babies. Stop having babies with men that are not your husband. Stop. You stop doing that, we can lower this situation from happening. We really could. Stop having babies. Period. A lot of people don't believe in abortions. I do. A lot of people don't believe in birth control. I do. A lot of people don't believe in closing their legs. I do. Stop having babies, especially with men that are not your husband. Because what tends to happen is what we keep seeing. You burn out. You get stressed out and you make negligent decisions that affect the children. Leave them in a car that's freezing. Leave them in a car that's hot. Leave them in a house for days to go to a concert. Leave them in a house to raise themselves for years. Leave them with somebody to be abusive to them, or you take the abuse out on them yourselves. Stop having babies with men that are not your husbands. Stop giving your womb to men that are not going to be there with you through thick and thin to the end. Stop. Because as we see, once that kid is here, you're left to take care of that kid for life. And if you know you can't do it, if you know that this is too much for you, don't do it. Because you are responsible for them. You are on your own. Whether he stays or not, you're on your own. So stop. Just that easy. Stop. That's my final thoughts. I do also think that mental health is very important. And there's a lot of people in our community that's walking around with undiagnosed mental health issues. And we mask it through different ways, whether it's we overly drink, we overly consume drugs, we overly, become sexually active, we get aggressive and violent for no reasons, we snap one moment and then the next moment we seem to kind of be, normal. Like there's a lot of mental health issues that exist in our communities that's not being treated because some people feel away and feel like, I can just pray it away. Or there's nothing wrong with me, or I don't want to find out. And who suffers from all that? Kids. So stop. Stop bringing kids into this world that you know you can't care for, nor do you want to. Stop. Keep your legs closed. Take the birth control pills. Do what you have to do to ensure that no babies come until you are prepared and you have a partner that is going to be with you for life. Just that simple. And we can lower the numbers of kids that end up in foster care. We can lower the numbers of kids that end up, being harmed at the risk of negligence of a parent. Stop. That's my final thought.
Like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment. And thank you for the people that are leaving us comments. We're getting a lot of comments now.
Yeah.
BGP, and we're out.
Bye.